Okay, I'm just going to take my mask off a little bit here. Thank you very much for being here today. I'm not going to mince any words. This is probably going to be my Governor Andrew Cuomo moment. The governor is very voiceful and forceful in putting out what he needs for his state and city, and I'm at that point in time now. And I'm going to start first from the federal government level. Before I start, and they will be speaking, I'm joined by a brave and dedicated firefighters represented by Fire Commissioner B.J. Calvi, our brave and dedicated men and women in blue represented by Commissioner Cheryl Clapperoux, and my Health and Human Services Commissioner Helen Carlton-Harris, who has done yeoman work as we continue to knock down this COVID-19 coronavirus challenge before us. We have, it's been stated, the greatest economy in the world. In the world. There should be no reason why governors and mayors are cannibalizing each other to get the appropriate supplies, materials, and specifically N95 and KN95 masks, besides to our hospital and medical providers, to my frontline service people of police and fire. There should be no excuse whatsoever. And I don't understand, and I'm going to work my way down from the federal level, why the Defense Act was not put into place well over a month ago to have these supplies ready to go for governors and mayors across the United States of America, and not for each and every one of us cannibalizing each other and fighting amongst each other, paying or trying to get these supplies. So shame on them. Shame on them. Now my issue in dealing with MEMA and the state, and we were never told when that recent shipment came in from Mr. Kraft and Governor Baker, that first responders would not have access, along with our caring and heartfelt hospital doctors and nurses, to the K95 or the NK95 or N95 masks. I put in an order for those masks with MEMA well over 2 weeks ago. As a city, myself, I directed my CAFO, TJ Plant, to pursue on our own, wherever we can get our hands on these masks, on our dime. And that's been quite difficult. So my recent conversations with MEMA, they are denying N95 and KN95 masks for my frontline service people of police and fire. It doesn't fit the requisite that is being put forth on the federal level by the CDC. Absolutely ridiculous. Who the hell do you think, who do they think from the federal level on down is responding to the initial calls to these homes, whether in the city of Springfield or all throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts? I'm speaking for every police department and every fire department in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's police and fire that are first responders, many a times ahead of EMS. I'm sick and tired of waiting. Last week I was down 39 officers. Mr. Cloud was down 39 officers. In our early morning cabinet head meetings today, I'm down 26. Last week, I had no firefighters down. I'm down 7. I'm down 7 now. So as we continue to try to bring our own supply in, shame on the federal government. There's no way that hospitals should be undersupplied with this. There's no way that states should be undersupplied with this. And a recent article in some of the publications across the country about what's going on with FEMA here, confiscating supplies being diverted. Again, I got to give a lot of credit. I appreciate Governor Baker's continued efforts. A lot of credit to Governor Cuomo out of New York. He's on every day, pleading, screaming, yelling, making his point. He's been able to receive everything he needs, plus 4. Well, I'm sick and tired of waiting my turn here. I'm up to 254 positive in the city of Springfield. That's going to grow. That's going to grow. So, I'm going to have my commissioners, all my commissioners speak. But I'm demanding, not only from the federal government, but I'm demanding from MEMA, get me those N95, KN95 masks. You have them. We need them. My police officers and firefighters are burning through those masks. That they are frontline providers. Frontline providers. And I believe DPH, something has come out in EMS now, recommending with police and fire, surgical masks are not enough. That's what I was told last night. The surgical masks were enough. BS. BS. So I'm putting everybody on notice right now. This is not my first rodeo, and many of these individuals' first rodeo. This is our 4th natural or man-made disaster that we've handled here in the city of Springfield the past 10 or 12 years. And by all accounts, not my accounts, by all accounts from near and far, we commended on how we handled our natural and man-made disasters. My team is tested and true. But I just can't go on like this anymore. I cannot be told that my police and firefighters cannot get N95 or KN95 masks, as we go out ourselves trying to buy these masks, which is ridiculous, but it has not occurred on the federal level. Way too late. Well over a month too late. The National Defense Act should have been in place immediately. Immediately. The greatest economy in the world has been stated here in the United States of America. And yet we're competing against ourselves to get the protective gear that is needed to make sure that we will defeat this COVID-19 coronavirus. Absolutely ridiculous. And to MEMA, to the MEMA officials, the state officials, I'm not asking anymore. I'm demanding those N95 masks and those KN95 masks immediately. Fire and police, they're the ones that go to the call. They're the ones that provide medical action. They're the ones that get them there before they go to the hospital. So, no more Mr. Nice Guy on that. Action has to happen. And the other thing too, my police department is stretched tremendous amount. DCF, which is a state authority, they're not even doing home visits anymore because they don't feel they have the proper protection. You know who's doing home visits? My Springfield Police Department. Fearless. And by hook or by crook, we've gotten our hands on through the private sector's and generous donations for a handful of N95 or KN95 masks. So I don't want to hear from the federal level CDC, nor do I want to hear from MEMA and state officials that my brave and dedicated police officers and firefighters do not qualify to receive these masks when they're going into the teeth of the battle right now. I am sorry it's gotten to this point. I've been told to wait, to wait, to wait. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to always continue to stand up for my residents and business community and my employees here in the city of Springfield. And I'm also standing up for every police department and every fire department in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And the hospitals. We've been helping the hospitals get supplies. And again, before I turn it over to commissioners, we were never told. I was ecstatic when Governor Baker, Mr. Kraft, the Patriots owner, were able to bring $1.2 million N95, KN95 masks here to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Hospitals, the medical providers. Nowhere was it stated that frontline first responders would not have access or did not qualify for those N95, K95 masks. Never. They changed the rules on us. I'm changing the rules now. So I'm demanding those masks ASAP. These individuals are going into very dangerous situations, number one. Number two, they're going into very dangerous health situations. I'm now going to have Commissioner Cheryl Clapper come up and Commissioner E.J. Calvey, our fire department, and Health and Human Services Commissioners Helen Colton Harris to come up. But shame on the federal government for putting mayors and governors in this position. And to MEMA, sometimes you got to override the rules. Head, heart, and gut. The right thing to do. Right thing to do. I know $300,000 were given in New York. Again, to help out Governor Cuomo. See? The squeaky wheel gets the oil. Well, now I'm coming at you with a flame torch. I need action, and I need it immediately to protect my police and fire department. Police Commissioner Cheryl Clapper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thanks so much for your support of the women and men in blue. We truly appreciate it. I have to say that I was kind of shocked this morning to find out that first responders, police, and fire are not on the list to obtain the N95 masks. 2 weeks ago when I checked, we were on that list, and I knew we had some ordered, and I knew Commissioner Calvey had 3,000 ordered, and I knew the city had some ordered, so there I was in front of the women and men who work for me and assuring them that I could protect them and to keep up the good work, to go out and answer your calls, and I'll scrounge, I begged and I borrowed, and I ended up with enough N95 masks for the first wave to go out for the first few days, thinking that more was on the way. Morale is good, they're doing their jobs, and as the mayor said many times on these medical calls, we're the first ones there. We go in, and a lot of times we're the ones that put the surgical masks on the patient to help protect the other EMS and the hospital workers when they get there. It's us. We're in that environment first. So to be denied this equipment now is kind of a real slap in the face. I don't know how I go in front of them. I have been out there. I have tried hard to make sure every officer now has 2 N95 masks. And it was a big borrow and plead deal because I was thinking I was trying to get by until the shipments arrived, and now to find out that that's not the case is very disappointing and disheartening. Again, we're doing our jobs. I have had 14 officers test positive for COVID. I have 4 officers now currently awaiting tests. I I can't imagine what they're going through, what their families are going through. I'm just waiting to see. But they've had me in front of them telling them, I will give you the PPE, I will protect you as best I can, thank you for doing a good job, thank you for continuing to do the police work that you're doing, and more masks are coming. And if more masks aren't coming, I don't know how I keep that message up. So, as the mayor said, we're doing our job, and now we're doing other agencies' jobs. DCF is no longer doing the unscheduled visits. I think they're doing them remotely to us, and we are the ones actually going into the houses and checking on children. Dr. Kerouac and Dr. Luce on Monday advised me to have my officers wear the N95 masks when they enter the hospital. Hospital settings now for officers are advised to wear the N95 mask. That's great if I can provide the N95 mask to the officers. So I would encourage everyone to heed the mayor's plea. We need them. The women and men in Springfield Police Department are doing an awesome job. They do it every day. They're your first responders, along with the fire and the EMS. I understand the need for the healthcare workers, absolutely. I do, and I know they need them, but I find it hard to believe that we're in the state we're in, where we're going to choose which people who respond first get the needed equipment. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Blackburn. Springfield Fire Commissioner Bernard E.J. Kell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning. As someone who's worked in the EMS profession for over 30 years, I'm well versed in the use of protective material, protective equipment. And the KN95 mask, or the N95 mask, was first implemented and developed years ago, and we started carrying it in the EMS field when TB was becoming prevalent. Then we started using it when we were doing high-risk procedures for people with HIV and AIDS. And then it evolved with Ebola preparedness, and then H1N1 flu preparedness, and bird flu preparedness. All of these different viruses and issues that have come up in the EMS field and the public safety field, the go-to mask to protect yourself is the N95 respirator. A month ago, when the CDC guidance first came out regarding COVID-19 protective equipment, the first thing was the use of N95 respirators to protect responders. Well, as masks began to run short, the first thing they did was cut off emergency responders for the use of KN95 masks, and said that surgical masks would work well for emergency responders. Well, it doesn't offer the same level of protection. The gold standard for protection of respiratory droplets is the KN95 or the N95 mask, and the first responders on the front lines deserve that protection. Now they're saying that only use the KN95 mask when you're going to be exposed to droplets in high-risk procedures, or where the droplets can be aerosolized. Well, that's in CPR, intubation, nebulization, and medical treatments. Those are the high-risk calls that the fire department and the police department are currently responding to. If we go into a scene wearing a surgical mask and people are doing CPR on a COVID-positive patient, it's too late at that point. Everything's already been aerosolized and it's already in the air. We need to take these precautions before we go into these residences or before we go into these high-hazard areas. Just yesterday, I received a bulletin from Western Mass EMS that advises DPH is advising all first responders, including, not limited to, fire personnel, law enforcement, emergency medical services personnel, assume responding to an event in a long-term care facility that individuals that they're interacting with are infected with COVID-19. First responders and EMS personnel should don the appropriate personal protective equipment recommended for caring for individuals who are infected with COVID-19. Well, if that said individual is already having CPR being done on them, that's an N95 mask. Also, as Commissioner Clapton stated, we go into many residences in the city of Springfield. There are over 200 cases of COVID-19 in the city of Springfield. All those patients are infected There are several larger facilities in the city that have COVID-19 in them. For us to take the appropriate protective measures for our employees, we need to be using KN or N95 masks to make sure we're protected. At this point, we have 7 people quarantined or self-quarantined in the fire department. We have 1 positive test. That's because we're taking the appropriate protective measures. Over a month ago, the fire department ordered 3,000 N95 masks to prepare for this. They haven't arrived yet. We're scraping by what we have on hand, but we are burning PPE on a daily basis responding to calls. We've requested from MEMA on 2 to 3 separate occasions for masks, and they've sent us surgical masks. That's great for the average citizen and to protect you from spilling virus to us as you're walking around. But what we really need when we're doing emergency procedures and going to high-level, high-risk calls is an N95 mask. I'd like to thank Mayor Sarno for his leadership on this issue and for having this press conference today so we can express our needs. And I request everybody to make sure they're staying safe out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Calvin. Thank you, Commissioner Calvin. And now my Commissioner of Health and Human Services, Helen Calton Harris, who's done a yeoman work as all my cabinet heads in rank and file, night and day, 24/7. Helen Calton Harris.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for your leadership as always. Currently in the city of Springfield, there are 285 positive COVID-19 cases that we are following. Not only are we following those 285, but we are following another 500 contacts. So we have the addresses to give to first responders for those individuals who test positive. We do not have addresses many times for those individuals who are contact. What that means is that our first responders are going into homes and potentially there is an individual who is a first generation contact, which means the individual who is positive is the source. Those individuals in direct contact with that person is a first generation contact, and we have over 500 of them. At this point, I cannot give our first responders those addresses. And so what that means is they're potentially going into situations where an individual could be a contact and they are unaware of it. It is critical that they are protected every time they go into a home or a setting because we want to make sure that we are doing all we can. Infectious disease doctors, epidemiologists tell us clearly that N95 masks are critical for those individuals who are going into settings. That is very important to all of us. We will put up a map soon that will show the city of Springfield and where our cases are. There will be no zip codes, there will be no addresses, but you will be able to look at neighborhoods. That is what we know. That's what we know. I am witnessing broad community spread. Community spread means we do not know the source, but we know that it is spreading through the community. Unprecedented community spread. Our officers, our firefighters are out there every day with community spread and they're doing their jobs. This is personal to me and to every resident of the city because we value and respect the work that our firefighters and police officers do. They need to be on the front line. We need them and we need them to be protected. This virus knows no boundaries. This virus is dangerous. This virus kills. If you look around the country, you see police officers in massive numbers, firefighters in massive numbers, healthcare workers in massive numbers. Police lieutenant. I tell you that because I think of him often today when I think about how we are not doing our job to protect those people who have to go home every day to their families and potentially country in the world. We should have what we need to protect those individuals who protect us.
Thank you, Commissioner Colton, and notice my mask, on every mask I wear, I always draw good health, because that's what I want each and every one of the residents here in the city of Springfield and the world. You know me, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I say what I mean and mean what I say. And I might now take, some of the wrath from the federal level, or maybe some wrath from the state level. But I'm doing this clarion call for the good of my Springfield residents, basically for the good of my police department and my fire department. The richest country in the world, so-called best economy in the world. The National Defense Act should have gone in motion well over a month ago. I'm all for capitalism. Everybody deserves to make a dollar if you're doing the right thing. Trying to get these supplies. And the same thing with our hospitals is unconscionable. Unconscionable. And I don't want to hear from the bureaucrats, CDC or MEMA, FEMA, whatever, that police and fire don't qualify for N95 or KN95 masks. I'm not going to accept it. And I demand action immediately. We put our money where our mouth is. We've tried to order left and right. But anybody that wants to work for the good of the city of Springfield. But I'm not going to sit back anymore now. I'm not going to sit back anymore now. Who the hell on a federal level, state level, do you think is responding first to these calls and these cases? Sometimes before EMS, police and fire. I'll continue to do our job. We'll do what we have to do. And we put out, and we're waiting for supplies to come in. Who knows when they're going to come in? And I've heard, well, they're coming in, my side, I heard the state Fed coming in, and then I showed the articles, things being confiscated, things not even getting to the state. So I don't want to hear from bureaucrats. I don't want MEMA to deny us again. I don't want the federal level to not be completely invoking the National Defense Act. It should have been done well over a month ago. Then, of course, we had some here on the local level, but we're in a pandemic. All hands on deck should be coming to the federal government, down to the governors, and down to the mayor. I have it all, hard head. I have a hard head. But we have a proven track record here. Near and far, my team's been tested and true, and we've received many, many accolades. Get me those KN95 masks, or N95 masks, yesterday. Yesterday. I don't care what you have to do again, because I'll do anything I can to get them. So I don't want to hear So not only do I speak for my Springfield Police Department, my Springfield Fire Department, I speak for every police department and every fire department here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. We are begging, borrowing, and stealing quotes to try to get these masks. I need the cavalry now, Mr. President. And I need it from the state level too. And out of these millions of masks that are coming in, you mean to tell me you can't send me 1,000 N95 masks, KN95 masks? 1,000? Too. So I'm going to take a page out of Governor Andrew Cuomo's book and be a little diplomatically, aggressively forceful. Because he has been able to, and I commend him, he's been able to get everything he needs, and even more so. I know the Governor Baker's trying hard also. But I can't hear from bureaucrats in the federal level, nor on MEMA, that we never processed your order because you don't qualify for that. Never said to us. 2 weeks we've been waiting for these goddamn things. Never said to us. I think we received 900 surgical masks. So I'm putting you all on notice. And I'm an old catcher, so I wore the tools of ignorance. San Juan, in high school, college, Legion. So I know how to take it. And KN95 masks ASAP for my brave and dedicated men and women in blue and my firefighters. They are the first responders as we continue, and we will. No more Mr. Nice Guy. I try to respect. If you have any questions, myself and mainly of Commissioner Clapper. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional today, but we're talking about saving people's lives here. Well, they're in the hospitals, workers, or my police and fire, and the stress that they're going through. I speak to everyone, police officer, firefighter that goes down, that has the virus. I call and speak to them and their families, what they're going through right now. Get these professional KN95 masks. Shame on the federal level, and I don't want to hear any bureaucratic BS bullshit from the state level either, too.
What is their response?
3,000. So we checked on it the other day. We were told we never even processed it. What? Well, you guys, police and fire don't qualify for it. In the meantime, through my CAFO, TJ Plant, I'm always thinking of other angles. So we went out on our own. We're trying to order our own as a city. So again, cannibalizing. Mayors and governors working against each other instead of together. So wouldn't it have been good at that point in time, MEMA to indicate that you don't qualify for them? After we checked nearly 2 weeks later, wasn't even processed, we don't qualify for them? I was so ecstatic when Governor Baker was able to pull off that deal with Patriots owner Robert Kraft. How great. I sent a letter, I thanked them all. First they thanked them. Nowhere did they say, and again, 300,000 went to New York. How about Governor Cuomo? I don't know what type of deal was struck, but we could use them right now here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Nowhere did they say, and obviously hospital, God bless them, the nurses, the doctors, everybody working in the hospital, doing God's work. But nowhere did they say that police and fire, first responders, first in line, no dibs on these, you weren't getting, never said that, so we were ecstatic. Said, hope maybe we can get 1,000 masks. 1,000 out of police or fire department. What? So besides doing a clarion call for Springfield, I'm doing it for the whole Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Because I'm sure those police and fire departments need those masks. Need those masks. So we had asked for 3,000. Because the fire and police are burning through these masks. And then we have other ancillary things that go on too in the city. I have other frontline people. The homeless providers in Bay State and Mercy, and I tried to help them with equipment and ventilators speaking to the governor. They reached out to me 10 days ago or so, maybe even longer. They were at crisis point with the homeless population. We need your help, Mr. Mayor. What do they do? It's the right thing to do. Vulnerable on my dime. We've built a complete mass triage, tented, state-of-the-art, across from the Friends of the Homeless. So I'm not afraid to put my money where my mouth is. So 3,000 was our initial request. And to find out, I don't know, Commissioner Calvin, the other day when I asked for an update, got back to us, but we didn't even process it. We don't qualify for it. Geez, when were you going to tell us that? Unacceptable. Right hand needs to know what the left hand is doing. So my request to MEMA and see, can you get me 1,000? Can you get me 1,000? Well, it's not along the guidelines.
What's the current supply situation with the masks, and how are you, I assume at this point you're going to ration their use, right? So what's...
I'm going to have both commissioners, but I'm very appreciative of Boston Police Commissioner Gross, and Chelsea Police Chief Coys. Chief Kais, I'm sorry, it's spelled, but it's pronounced Kais, who were able to make a score. And they thought of us. They called the sheriff, Commissioner Clapper. We drove out there. And I told MEMA too. I said, I don't care where they are. We'll drive out there and get them. We were able to get 500. Commissioner Calvin's been able to get a couple hundred that we, stuff that we kept in supply just in case, God forbid. And we're burning through them left and right. But I'm going to let Commissioner Clapper and Commissioner Calvin. And Helen needs them too.
Yeah, when the crisis first started, I was able to secure fronts from other department heads. Dan Warwick, the school department, Pat Sullivan, facilities, they each had 100. We put out the fact that we needed it. We actually had people that drive up to the front of the station and give us 10, or they were painters or carpenters, and they had masks to give us. All the while thinking that I'm waiting for Commissioner Calvi's 3,000 to come and set us up. And last week, a couple days ago, I heard from Chief Kais and Commissioner Gross, and through Facebook, they were able to obtain some masks, N95s for police departments. So I sent Sergeant Elliott to Chelsea. He drove up there, and we secured 500. So as of today, I was able to give everybody that responds to calls 2 N95 masks, and now I'm very concerned about what happens when the 2 are done, because we gave instructions on how to clean them. You have to steam them. We're careful with them, but by police work's very nature, we're going through them. There's disturbances, fights, arguments, they get soiled, they get ripped. So I'm down to 2 an officer now, and we're in desperate need of some more.
Thank you, Commissioner Clapper. Let me just mention before I bring Commissioner Calvi up too. We reported it, and I think the media reported it too. If there's a little phenomenon going on, how disrespectful can it be? That these violent criminal offenders, they're pulling police officers, he or she's mask off and spitting in their face. I'll tell you what I like to do to them. I like to do to them. I'll take the heat on that. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Commissioner Cal.
Paul, to answer your question, we currently have 235 masks on hand. We run a different deployment strategy for our masks in the police department. Each company is assigned a certain number of masks. When that mask is burned out, we then replace it. So our burn rate is between 6 to 10 masks a day, our current rate of deployment. So when this first started, we tried to get ahead of the curve, and I ordered ordered 3,000 masks from one of my vendors, and have been waiting for those to come in for over a month. So hopefully they get to the dock and don't get seized by anybody else before they make it to us. When I talked to them the other day, that was his big concern, is that they weren't going to be seized by another agency before they make it downstream to us. So, thank you.
Thank you.
That's after we're paying for it. So you can see the discombobulation coming from the federal level. So we're trying to do our due diligence to do what we have to do. Like, can you at least give me 1,000? You don't qualify. And police, fire, putting out fires, making saves, medical calls, police making arrests. Some more great arrests, gun arrests were made there. Going into these, again, I think we're at 254 right now. We're tracing another potentially 5-something, as Commissioner Helen Carlton said. So when that bell rings, my fire department goes out there. When that alarm sounds, my police department goes out there. And I'm going to fight damn hard to get them all the proper protection. So we're going on our own. We're waiting shipments to come in, but who knows when those shipments are going to come in.
So, I'm sorry, so you have made placed an order on your own.
Yes, we have.
We know these things disappear.
Yeah,
That's,
I showed you. It was in the New York Times or other articles.
yeah, I read it too.
Confiscate.
Yeah.
I think that also affected, in fairness, with respect to Governor Baker. I think that affected the Commonwealth of Massachusetts too.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you what, I would have been down there with.
he's talked about that before in his briefings about how the shipment didn't arrive. That was one of the reasons why they went through this whole thing to get the masks in China and have the Patriots plane fly them over.
I'll tell you what,
But
I would have screamed to the president. Mr. President, where was my shipment? Where's my shipment?
so you've placed an order independently.
Yes, we have.
But
For actually, my CFO, TJ Plant, is in the back there, was Braxton Social.
Yeah.
Listen, we've placed 4 orders. We're not hedging our bets.
4 orders for 3,000.
4 orders, TJ Family. Come on up, TJ. So we're looking at our own. But again, you have mayors and governors cannibalizing each other. That's why the Defense Act, at a federal level, that should have been implemented well over a month ago.
So we placed 4 orders with 4 different vendors for a total of 15,000 masks. And we're hoping, we're just saying, they say you're in the queue, you'll get them at some point.
And that some point could be hopefully tomorrow, which I doubt, or 5 weeks from now. And tell me what toll that'll take on my first responders. So that's where we're at. But I can't wait anymore. Sometimes you gotta go with your head and not your gut. This bureaucratic rule book stuff here. It's not gonna save anybody's life. These N95 and KN95 masks are going to save lives and are going to preserve my police and fire department and other ancillary workers that we have out there on the front lines. The city business continues here. So, if they didn't hear me before, they hear me now. And I'm ready to take those slings and arrows from the federal level or state level. But I'm doing this for the good of my Springfield residents, my business community, my police department, my fire department, my test and true cabinet heads and rank and file, and actually for every police department and every fire department here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Get us those N95, KN95 masks ASAP. I don't care from the federal level, from the state level. Part of my life, I don't want to hear any more of this bureaucratic bullshit. And shame on, and again, I try to respect officers, but that Defense Act should have been put in place. Should have been put in place well over a month ago. Well over a month ago. And I'm not some lowly mayor here in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts. This is 4 natural man-made disasters that we have dealt with properly. no more song and dance stuff on it. Let's get to this reality and get these masks and stop confiscating stuff that's supposed to come to Massachusetts. But change the laws, the regulations have to be changed. CDC, whatever, all these acronyms here, MEMA. Get us the masks. I will be forever thankful and grateful to you. And I do wish each and every one, even my is doing day in and day out. We're doing the same thing here. Send the stuff our way yesterday. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.